Hello everybody, welcome back to Book of Kings, where we discuss topics such as history, religion, philosophy, culture, and more, and the way that they all interact with each other. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to receive a notification every time I release a new video. Hope you enjoy. Hello everybody, here we are. We are back for another video. The topic of our video today is going to be a topic somewhat related to the topic of a previous video of mine. And that is the video that I previously did on the language families of the world. So, in line with that, the topic of today's video will also be about language. But unlike the video on the language families of the world, or the spoken languages of the world, the topic of today's video will be on the written languages of the world, as well as their origins. So, in talking about the writing systems of the world, more specifically, starting off talking about their origins, we need to go back to the topic of another one of my videos, and that is the topic of the original first four human civilizations. So if we remember from that video, the original first four civilizations were Mesopotamia, based in modern-day Iraq, Egypt, China, as well as the Indus River Valley civilization based in modern-day Pakistan. So, in line with all that, nearly all of the current writing systems of the languages of the world today are based upon the writing systems of those first four civilizations. And little disclaimer, the overwhelming majority of the writing systems that exist in the world today originate from the writing system of one of those first four civilizations. So, how I'm going to tackle this all today is we are first going to start by discussing the writing systems of the civilizations which did not have as great of an impact. And then from there, we're going to move on to discussing the writing system of the civilization which had this huge, immense impact that we will discuss. So, without further ado, let us begin. We are going to discuss the writing system of the first of the four civilizations, and that is the writing system of Mesopotamia. The writing system of ancient Mesopotamia was initially developed to write the Sumerian language, and the name of that writing system is Cuneiform. So the writing system of Cuneiform, as I said, was originally developed to write the Sumerian language of the Sumerian people, who were the people who developed the first human civilization based in Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. And from there, that writing system of Cuneiform, which was used to write Sumerian, was then used to write the Akkadian language of the Akkadian people, who would conquer the Sumerians and then almost carry the torch begun by the Sumerians. And Cuneiform was also used to write the language of the Hittite people, another people who had a major empire in the ancient world in the Middle East. The Hittites were based in modern-day Turkey. And it was also used to write the Elamite language of the Elamite people, who were based in the southwest of modern-day Iran and had a rich civilization prior to the arrival of the Iranian-speaking peoples. So that is Cuneiform. In addition to writing those languages which we discussed, the Cuneiform writing system was also used to develop the writing system of the Old Persian language, the language of the Achaemenid Persian Empire. So the writing system of Old Persian was based upon the Cuneiform writing system. So, that is Cuneiform, and it should be noted that despite having this influence on the writing systems of the cultures that I mentioned, in writing the languages that I mentioned. There is no current writing system today which is derived from or originates from or evolved from cuneiform. So to put it bluntly, it has gone extinct. So we are now going to move on to another one of the first four civilizations, specifically the writing system of that civilization, and that is the writing system of the Indus River Valley civilization. And their writing system is commonly known to historians and anthropologists as the Indus Script. So this writing system is a little tricky to pin down. So the inscriptions that archaeologists have found that use this writing system are often very short, and archaeologists and historians have been unable to decipher the meaning of any of the inscriptions written in this script. And with that being said, it of course is not related to any current languages in existence today. So we got 2 down, 2 of the 4. We're moving on very quickly to 3. So if it seems like we're breezing through these, will you just wait and see? Wait till we get to the big one. Because all of these pale in comparison to that one big writing system which has influenced nearly all writing systems. But I digress. So the next writing system is the writing system of the ancient Chinese civilization, and that is the oracle bone writing system. So, of course, like we talked about in the first 4 civilizations video, it is called the oracle bone writing system because this writing system was initially written on oracle bones, a particular long, flat type of bone. And the current Chinese characters in use today are derived from the oracle bone writing system. And it should be noted that as opposed to a lot of the language systems that we're familiar with today, the oracle bone writing system and Chinese characters are not alphabets per se. So each character represents a word or a syllable or a part of the word. Some of the other current writing systems in use today, which are based upon the oracle bone writing system, are some of the various writing systems of Japan. So Japan uses various different writing systems. One of the writing systems they use are the Chinese characters, but they also use other writing systems known as the hiragana writing system and the katakana writing system, which, if you trace it back, evolved from the oracle bone writing system. So we got 3 down. We are done with the initial 3 of the 4, and now it's time to move on to the big one. So I want you all to just think, what's a very ancient writing system that is very popular in popular culture, that the lay person who is not really into this type of subject would, pretty easily just think of? It would pop into their mind when they think of ancient writing systems. So I'm going to give you a little time to ponder on that. Well, if you haven't guessed yet, it is the writing system of ancient Egypt, and that is hieroglyphics. So obviously now hearing it, I'm sure it's ringing some big bells, right? That is a very, very well-known writing system. So hieroglyphics, again, like the oracle bone writing system, which we mentioned, is not your typical alphabet as we're used to it, per se, where every letter corresponds to a sound. So it could be said to be more in line with the oracle bone writing system or the Chinese characters. Generally, every letter, which in hieroglyphics, as I'm sure you've seen, looks like a picture. It's meant to represent a particular word or a syllable or a part of the word or a particular object, idea, or concept, etc. So, from hieroglyphics, there originated a writing system which is considered to be the earliest form of an alphabet documented in history, and which all of these other writing systems did originate from, and the name of it is Proto-Sinaitic. So, if we're going to listen to the name Proto-Sinaitic, let's break it down and try to decipher what that means. So proto, of course, that means before, originally, the origins of something. And then Sinaitic, what does Sinaitic mean? Well, Sinaitic alludes to the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, the portion of Egypt which technically is in Asia. Well, that is where the writing system of Proto-Sinaitic originated and where it gets its name from. And as I mentioned, Proto-Sinaitic is the first writing system which we have record of to begin to fit the criteria for what we consider to be an alphabet. And just to recap a little bit, an alphabet is a writing system in which each letter corresponds to a different sound. So then Proto-Sinaitic pretty much gives birth to two main branches, which would then, of course, give birth to various writing systems. So this is the big branch. So the vast majority of writing systems in the world are derived from Proto-Sinaitic, and then still the vast majority of languages in the world today are derived from one of the two branches of writing systems which originated from Proto-Sinaitic. So we are first going to discuss the branch of writing systems which had a little bit less of an impact. So the first branch of writing systems which branched off from Proto-Sinaitic was the ancient South Arabian script. So if the name is any indication, this writing system was the writing system which was used to write the ancient languages of South Arabia. So that is the southern Arabian Peninsula, roughly corresponding to the present-day country of Yemen, also would correspond to some parts of southern Saudi Arabia, as well as possibly some parts of the country of Oman. And also what originated from the ancient South Arabian script was the Ge'ez script. And that is the writing system which was used to write the ancient language of Ethiopia, the language of Ge'ez, as well as the modern languages of Ethiopia, and those are the languages of Amharic, Tigray, and Tigrinya. So we just discussed the one branch of Proto-Sinaitic. Now we are going to discuss the other branch of Proto-Sinaitic, and this is the branch which nearly all of the writing systems in the world today are derived from. And that is the branch of Proto-Canaanite. So based upon that, what does the name tell us? Well, proto, again, proto means early origin, the early origins of something. And well, what does Canaanite mean? It means relating to the land of Canaan. So any of you who might be versed in any biblical history, this name might be ringing a bell. And Canaan was the ancient name for the territory corresponding to the present-day country of Israel. So Proto-Canaanite was a variation of Proto-Sinaitic, and then from Proto-Canaanite came the writing system of the language by which nearly all writing systems today are derived. I know I'm saying that a lot, but initially it started with hieroglyphics, and then we had Proto-Sinaitic, and then Proto-Canaanite. Well, this writing system, which came from Proto-Canaanite, is the writing system that gave birth to the overwhelming majority of all writing systems in the world today. And that is the writing system of the Phoenician language, or the Phoenician Alphabet. So, like I said, Proto-Sinaitic was the first writing system which would begin to fit the criteria for what we consider to be an alphabet. And Phoenician is the first major alphabet in the world. And again, like I said, nearly all of the writing systems in the world today, and overwhelmingly all of the writing systems which we would consider to be an alphabet, are derived from the Phoenician alphabet. So, with that being said, I would say that for the most part, there are two directions in which the Phoenician alphabet branched off into. But first, before getting to that, I'm going to talk about one smaller alphabet which would originate from the Phoenician alphabet. And that is the Old Hebrew alphabet. So some of you may be familiar with the current Hebrew alphabet. You probably have seen it. If you saw it, you might recognize it. Well, prior to the current Hebrew alphabet as we know of it today, there was an older version of the Hebrew alphabet which was based very directly off of Phoenician. And to the eye, one might say that it looked somewhat similar to Phoenician. One could potentially almost see the relation. So, that is the old Hebrew alphabet. Now we're going to talk about one of the two alphabets which would branch off from the Phoenician alphabet and form the foundation for various different alphabets, and that is the Greek alphabet. So many of you may be familiar with the Greek alphabet. If you see it, you probably would know what it looks like. You might have a conception in your head of what it looks like. So the Greek alphabet, of course, like I said, it was derived from the Phoenician alphabet, and it was used to write the ancient Greek language, and it also is used to write the modern Greek language. So from there, we had another writing system which would branch off from the Greek alphabet, and that was the Etruscan alphabet, the writing system of the Etruscan people, one of the peoples who lived in what is today Italy. So from that, we're going to segue to our next alphabet, which is derived from Etruscan, and that is the most widely used alphabet in the world today, the Latin alphabet. So as I mentioned, that is the most widely used alphabet in the world today. And that is used to write the majority of the languages of Europe, nearly all of the languages of Western Europe, many of the countries which are former colonies of Western Europe, as well as various other languages. And many in our American culture might think of that as the English alphabet, but that's incorrect. It is not the English alphabet. It is the Latin alphabet. It was the writing system developed by the Romans, and then of course spread all throughout Europe, and then from there spread all throughout the world. Another major alphabet which would originate from the Greek alphabet is the Cyrillic Script. And that is used to write a couple languages, but the one that people would most commonly associate with it would be the Russian language. So many people, when they see the Cyrillic alphabet, they may think of the Russian language, and they may even think of it as the Russian alphabet. But in actuality, it is the Cyrillic script. And it was developed based upon the Greek alphabet. Additionally, another writing system, which is based upon the Greek language, is the Georgian writing system. So the Georgian writing system is a created writing system. So it wasn't one that per se maybe naturally evolved organically. However, it was modeled upon the Greek alphabet. Another writing system in a similar manner, which presumed to be modeled upon the Greek alphabet, is the Armenian alphabet. So the Armenian alphabet, similar to the Georgian alphabet, is a created alphabet. It didn't necessarily evolve organically. Somebody intentionally, purposefully created it. And while it's not 100% certain, it is believed to be modeled upon the Greek alphabet. So, now we have finished the Greek alphabet and all of the writing systems derived from it. So that was the one major branch of writing systems derived from the Phoenician alphabet. Now we are going to move on to the other alphabet, which formed the other major branch of all the writing systems, which would originate from the Phoenician alphabet. And we will discuss that in my next video. Talk to you then. Thank you for watching. This has been another Book of Kings video. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to receive a notification every time I release a new video.